because this is the first stream that I've done, I think in like 3 weeks. Back when we had Jay on the show, we did our album reviews to end the year. And I think that was like December 20th or 21st. So it's been like 2 or 3 weeks at this point. But we're back, and we're going to be back every Tuesday now. This is going to be the first full year of the show, doing these streams every Tuesday. I'm going to try to aim to do every Tuesday and stick with that and keep consistent. Obviously, there's going to be times where I have to move it, and things will come up, and we'll just kind of adjust as we go. But I wanted to get it going today with a topic that I think is very important, especially for this time of year, and that is seasonal depression. Being someone that is from the Midwest, Ohio to be exact, every year, this time of year during the winter time is very, dark, bleak, snows all the time, not to mention daylight savings kicking in where it gets dark around this time, which is 6 p.m. That's always been a thing that I've grown up in my whole life, and I've lived here, almost 30 years at this point. So it's something that I've been familiar with, something that actually really affected me a lot more when I was younger. I'd say in middle school and high school, I dealt with, dealing with seasonal depression a lot. I'd say it doesn't bother me that much anymore, but I do have days now and then where I feel a little low based on the weather, based on daylight savings time being a factor as well. And I know a lot of creatives that deal with this, and even if they're not in a state like I'm in with a lot of snow and like just really bad weather, just the fact that the days are shorter, because that affects pretty much every time zone, that has an effect on people because less daylight, less energy. We've talked about that in other streams about how important daylight can be. But today I wanted to kind of go over different outlets that artists can use to kind of help with that whole phase of going through seasonal depression, whether it's something you're dealing with now, maybe it's the first time you've ever dealt with something like this, or it could be something that you've dealt with your whole life, and you're just trying to find a way to cope, or you're just trying to find a way to kind of get through it in a healthy way, which I think is the important part. So we're going to go over at least one of these articles today. I ended up finding 3 that I really like. I'm going to leave them in the description of the YouTube replay. So definitely give all of them a look. But the one I thought was the best one was by, it's an article from Evoke Visual, which is a UK-based website. It's primarily blog posts from different people, primarily different artists though. And this one was called Battling Seasonal Affective Disorder, or SAD. I like that acronym, it actually makes total sense, through art. And it was just published in November of 2024, so it's only 2 months old, so it's a very fresh article. It says, as the colder months approach and the days get shorter, many of us feel the familiar weight of seasonal affective disorder, or SAD, creeping in. The lack of sunlight, longer nights, and increased time spent indoors can trigger feelings of sadness, anxiety, and lethargy? I don't know if that's a word, but I understand. Feeling lethargic, I think you get what they mean by that. For some, SAD is a yearly battle, casting a shadow over the winter months. While nature offers an antidote to this through its healing power, art can also serve as a tool for lifting our spirits and managing our mental health, especially during the darker seasons. This is where my project, and this girl's name is Sarah, by the way. It doesn't list her last name, but it lists her first name on the article. I don't know if she chose to have that be the case, or maybe she writes on this blog very frequently, but her name is Sarah, just for context. Says that this is where my project, Positive Mental Artitude, Artitude, I like that. So it's like a play on like altitude, but with art. I actually like that a lot. Comes in an artistic movement I've developed to bring positivity, vibrancy, and light into our lives, even when the outside world feels gray. First step of this is to understand seasonal affective disorder. Seasonal affective disorder is more than just feeling down during the winter. It's a form of depression triggered by the change in seasons, typically starting in autumn and continuing through winter. The reduction in sunlight can disrupt our biological clocks, leading to decreased serotonin levels, the hormone responsible for regulating mood, and an increase in melatonin, which can leave us feeling sleepy and sluggish. We discussed this on the sleep schedule stream that we did. I think that was probably the beginning of December or like sometime in November. So definitely go check that one out. I'm not going to go super in depth on that, but it's pretty interesting to think about. I discovered a lot doing that research for the sleep schedule one about the positive effects that light can have on our bodies. And like I said at the beginning, naturally, if daylight savings is there and the days do get shorter, obviously you're going to have less energy no matter what the weather looks like. It just happens that, the weather where I'm at and where a lot of other people are is also bad on top of it. So it's like a double dose of just feeling that pressure of that seasonal depression. It says, despite these challenges, we have the power to influence our mental state. One powerful way to do this is through creative expression. Power of positive mental artitude. I created Positive Mental Artitude as both a personal project and a message to others. Art can be a tool for mental wellness. As an artist, I've always believed in the emotional and psychological impact that art can have on individuals. But it wasn't until I experienced my own struggles with anxiety, PTSD, and the effects of seasonal changes that I fully understood the role that creating and surrounding myself with positive art could play in maintaining my mental health. And for more context, I believe Sarah is a painter, because at the top of her article here, there's a picture of a very nice mural that she painted. And it looks like there's a bunch of like paintbrushes and just a lot of things laying around. But you'll see it when you click on the article. You'll see, I'm pretty sure that's her mural. There's nothing like captioned underneath, but I would assume if it's attached to this article, it is hers, which means she is a painter. She might do more art as well. So when she's talking about, from her perspective, it's her as an artist. But this can apply to anyone. It can apply to musicians, which I think is super cool. That's really what I got from reading this. Let's see, where are we at here? Positive mental artitude is about more than just making art. It's about deliberately creating and sharing works that are full of vibrant colors, intricate details, and uplifting themes. Each piece is infused with the intention of bringing joy and encouraging positive emotions, both in myself and in those who view it. It's my way of battling the darker aspects of life, especially when the seasons seem to magnify those feelings. And when you see this painting, she actually chose very vibrant colors. Like there's some oranges, yellows, there's pinks, there's some reds in there. I see a little bit of blue and green. It's all pretty vibrant stuff that's kind of in your face. So I think that's what she is referring to in her own art is, just painting things that feel warm or just feel inviting. I thought about it from a music standpoint. Maybe you want to create music that is that same feeling but auditory. Maybe you want to make something that feels more like a summertime jam or just something that you would play at a cookout or something. Because it's hard to, and I understand it is hard to get in that mindset, especially when it is winter time. But if you can somehow kind of take yourself there to that place and make something like that, that could honestly help lift your spirits. And like she was talking about here, it can help lift the person that's, experiencing the art as well, or hearing the song or whatever it is that you do. So I thought that was very interesting. How art helps during SAD. Art offers a unique way to combat the effects of SAD because it It engages both the mind and the body in a positive activity. Here's why art is particularly effective during the colder months. So this is pretty much the meat and potatoes right here. This is the main steps for all this stuff. Color therapy is the first one. It says bright colors can have a significant impact on mood. Vibrancy of yellows, oranges, and reds can evoke feelings of warmth and energy, which is what I was just talking about. Like I said, look at the painting that she put in this article. Like, go to the YouTube replay, watch it, click the article, look at the painting. That's exactly kind of what she did. I'm not sure what it's supposed to be. It looks kind of just like abstract art, but it's very good, and that's exactly what I thought of when I saw it. While blues and greens can have a more calming effect when creating positive mental artitude pieces, I deliberately use bold, rich hues to lift the spirits. Engaging with colorful art, whether creating or viewing it, can offer a powerful mood boost when the world outside feels dull. So yeah, basically what I was just talking about, which is just kind of choose more vibrant themes, kind of figure out how to put yourself there mentally. That way you can express it in whatever art form you're trying to express it in, and then it will hopefully translate to the person that's experiencing the art. Number 2, mindfulness through creativity. Making art requires us to be present in the moment. Whether you're painting, drawing, or doodling, art encourages mindfulness. Focusing on the flow of a brushstroke or the feel of a pencil in your hands, your mind. I think I read that wrong. Feel of a pencil in your hand allows your mind to escape from worries, which is essential when battling anxiety or sad. In my own life, art has been a crucial outlet for mindfulness, helping me to stay grounded. And I think art can pretty much naturally take us there, or music, because that's what music has always done for me. You know, if I'm feeling low or I'm feeling like I need a boost, music is usually where I turn. You know, and I listen to some songs for a bit, and then I'm usually feeling better, or at least I'm feeling like I have a different perspective on the situation, and then I can kind of apply, you know, how I'm feeling to kind of shift it to a better light, if that makes sense. And what she's saying is that's what art does for her. So when she's painting, you know, that gives her that feeling, and every person's going to be different. It might not be music or art. It could be something totally different, just something that you can have that is kind of your escape in a way. But I always look at it as like, people call it an escape. It is, but it's not, because that has power still, and you can still use that to uplift others and help other people. So, you know, while it's an escape for you, I think you got to also look at it as somewhat of a responsibility to help the next person, or just help somebody that is feeling or has felt kind of similar to how you feel. So there is responsibility in that too. A sense of accomplishment. One of the challenges of SAD is the feeling of stagnation, of time dragging on without purpose. Creating art, no matter how simple, gives a sense of accomplishment. It's something tangible that you've made, and this act of creation can be incredibly empowering. Through positive mental artitude, I aim to help others experience this sense of achievement by encouraging them to engage with art, whether through viewing or creating. So yeah, just telling you that it's important to do these things, and, you know, I think that applies even if you're not an artist or a musician. Just try it out. Like, if you've always been curious about, you know, drawing pictures, like maybe you just start drawing just to do it. Like, it doesn't even have to be good, and you really don't even need like a purpose for doing it. Sometimes you got to do something just out of curiosity or just because you want to. And I think that could be a great thing to do, especially when you're kind of just cooped up in the house. You can't travel anywhere. Maybe you're off work for something, or, you know, you're off school, whatever it is. If you just have downtime, like, don't be afraid to try to express yourself in some type of new way. But if you are an artist or a music maker, you just do your thing. Like, just keep at it. And they're like, you know, like I've said in the past, there's days where I personally feel like I'm just kind of running in place and not really making a lot of progress. But the more I keep going and just keep experimenting and trying new things and even working with others, if you can work with others, that's a big thing too that will help you out a lot. And it'll give you that sense of achievement and really the sense of progress that you know that you're actually moving forward in the right way. And not just like I said, running in place or having the feeling of being stagnant. So I think that's definitely very important. Expression of emotions. Art is a safe space to express emotions that are difficult to articulate. For those experiencing the weight of depression, anxiety, or the sluggishness of sad, art can be a way to release those feelings without needing to find the right words. Sometimes the mere act of putting paint to canvas or drawing shapes on paper can be a cathartic, I think that's the word, cathartic release, helping to alleviate some of the emotional pressure that builds during the colder months. And that's probably the deepest thing of all, is just that feeling super low or just feeling that depression. It's like a bottomless pit. You don't know how far you could fall into it. But if there's something like art that can help lift you, maybe not necessarily completely out of it, but at least like give you that boost, you know what I mean? Help you out in the moment to keep moving forward. Like you gotta go for that and just figure out, how you're gonna use that for good. And I think it's kind of just tying all those things into one, is just knowing the power that it has and then applying that and seeing the results from it. So again, very cool stuff. Incorporating art into your life. You don't need to be a professional artist to benefit from art's healing power. There are simple ways to incorporate art and creativity into your daily routine to help you manage the symptoms of SAD. And this is another 4-stepper right here. First one, create your own art. Try setting aside 10 minutes to doodle, color, or paint, or make music. It's not about the result, but about the process of engaging with the creativity. Let the act of making art become a form of self-care. That's literally what I just said like 5 minutes ago. Just do something. Like, why not? You gotta literally just tell yourself why not, and just make the worst drawing ever. But you had fun doing it. That's what matters. Surround yourself with positive art, whether it's purchasing a piece of art or printing out images that make you feel happy. Surround yourself with visuals that evoke positive emotions. Art has the power to transform a space and the way you feel within it. A big saying that I've always heard, or I've heard in recent years, is you get out what you put in. And I've always looked at it too of like, what am I absorbing? Not just like, what am I ingesting? Like eating, drinking, obviously that's important. What am I absorbing in art? Like, who am I listening to music-wise? Because if you're listening to things that are toxic, chances are you're going to feel pretty bad. If you're listening to things that are more, uplifting to your soul or just like motivational, things like that, it could even be a podcast, because that's a form of art too. If you're listening to those sorts of things, you're going to probably feel a lot better, even during the time of year where we are now. So it's like you got to keep that in mind too. And that's something for me that's been a big change I've had to make in the last couple years, is kind of, I'm not going to name names, but not listening to certain people that I used to listen to music-wise and content-wise. Like, I had to unfollow people on social media, really had to kind of reevaluate, who do I really need to be listening to at the end of the day, and who's really going to feed my story in the way that I feel is productive. So just something to keep in mind. I felt that was relevant to this as well. Next up, we have visit galleries. Even in the colder months, take time to visit local galleries or exhibitions. Viewing art in person can be a therapeutic experience, offering a moment of escape and inspiration. This summer, my girlfriend and I actually went on a date to, I forget the name of this art museum, but it's in Oberlin, Ohio. It's actually a pretty old art museum. I think it's owned by Oberlin University. You can probably look it up and figure out what it's called. Awesome art museum, though. It's totally free, and we went there, and I really enjoyed it, just looking at different pieces. A lot of it was local people, but a lot of it was also like more well-renowned artists as well. They had certain exhibitions going on, and I'm someone who I can't make art to save my life. Like, I really can't, because I took art in high school, and I was like the worst student. I did it for a credit, admittedly, because I can't draw, I can't paint, but I have an appreciation for art and for artists who paint, sculpt, do all that stuff. So just being able to go to a museum and like observe that material was awesome. And I've been to other art museums. I went to the LA Art Museum a couple years ago too. I'd like to keep going to museums because I think you just develop an appreciation for the time it takes for someone else to make their art. And I also think, with that said, if you're looking for more in the music route, go to shows, like go support an independent artist in your community, or go to one of your favorite artists' tour stop. If they're touring where you live, don't be afraid to go out and check them out, or go to a record store or something and just buy some records. Like whatever will help you get to that boost, I think, is what you got to do. So I like that a lot. But that reminded me of the couple, or the two art museums I've been to so far. Definitely want to go to more though. I've already been like looking at different art museums that I can go in the near future. And the final one is join art communities. Consider joining online or local art communities where you can share your creations and receive support. Being part of a creative group can combat feelings of isolation and help you stay motivated. I think about places like Discord are great for that. I got on Discord last summer. Admittedly, I don't post on Discord a lot, but I'm usually on there every day. And I'm a part of different, I don't know what they call them. Do they call them forums? I don't really know the lingo. But they say, like, join the Discord. You ask for an invite, or you get sent an invite, and then you're in the Discord. You're on their channel, or whatever it's called. I'm not that young, so I really don't know what it's called. And like I said, I check Discord, but I'm not an active user. I don't post on there. But I do like the platform a lot because it allows you to be a part of these different little niches, these different little communities where you can kind of bounce ideas, share with one another, share music or art with one another. So that's like the first thing that comes to mind. Obviously, there's like, other forms of social media and chat rooms, all kinds of possibilities. You could get your own online group going, like a support group, and just kind of start doing something like that. That goes all the way back to the musicians therapy one that we covered a couple months ago as well. I think that all kind of ties into the same world. So definitely cool things to think about. And we're reaching the end of the article here. It says, art as light during darker days. For me, positive mental artitude isn't just a project, it's a lifeline during the colder and darker months. It's my way of taking control of my mental health, transforming negative effects of sad into an opportunity to create something uplifting and beautiful. By engaging with art, creating it, or simply appreciating it, we can all find a little more light during these difficult times. So as winter approaches and the shadows of sad loom, and obviously, again, this was November, winter's here now, so remember that you don't have to face it alone. Art can be your companion, your outlet, and your source of hope. Through positive mental artitude, I hope to inspire others to find their own creative paths to positivity, no matter the season. Sarah. So that's it. That is her article. And big thank you to her for posting that. Again, I don't know her last name. I don't know any details about this person. But thank you very much for posting that. And like I said, I'm going to put that in the description on YouTube, or the description of the video on the YouTube replay. Go check that one out. That's the only one I'm going to cover today, but I'll let you guys know about these other ones that I found as well. One is from Capstone Music. It's called Can Music Help You Get Through Winter Blues? And they go over the same principle of SAD, seasonal affective disorder, and they give you some ways that can help, like directly through the music side, listening to music, playing an instrument, taking music lessons, joining a band, and it kind of just goes through the different ways that you can get it through playing music specifically. Let me check the last article I had. The third and final one is from artsy.net. It's called How Seasonal Affective Disorder Impacts Artists' Productivity. This is an older article. It's from 2018. But I think it's someone's specific story, and they kind of relate it to how it can affect everyone. Casey Lesser is who wrote this. But it looked like a really good article and very relevant to the other ones that I included, because they all talk about seasonal affective disorder, or SAD, that acronym. So they're all in the same vein, just from a little bit of different perspectives. But you're going to get a lot out of reading those, and I hope they help you a lot. And I hope that, just hearing Sarah's experience and what she would like to do for others, and what she's done for herself, I hope that can help you a lot, because it definitely helped me. It inspired me, and it's always a good reminder to have, especially on the days when we're not feeling our best, this time of year. And we're right now, it's January 7th. We still got 2 months left of daylight savings, because here in North America, daylight savings goes away like the first week of March, or it starts to kind of lessen. It still gets dark kind of early up until like end of April, but it's not as extreme. And obviously, again, where I live, March is still very much winter. Like, that is a winter month. It will probably be snowing still in March, so it's still going to be tough. But it gets a little bit better as far as like having longer days. You get more sunlight, hopefully. I don't think we will, but maybe if you live in a warm state, you're going to have more sunlight, which is nice, and that will help. But I think just being able to apply all of these as a creative, or even not as a creative, just someone that's dealing with seasonal depression, that's something that can help. So I thought this was important. I might even cover this again in a future year, just because I think it's something that's always going to come up. Maybe next time I'll figure out like a different lane to pick, because I think there's a lot of different things that can apply and that we could dive into on this. But I hope, like I said, that this did something for you guys, and definitely read all those articles. They're all in the description of the YouTube replay. Check them out. And I thank you guys for tuning in. I'm happy to be back. Few weeks off, the holiday, I kind of just chilled, but I really prepared for this year, 2025, not just here on Twitch, but just in my music journey and life and all that stuff. So I'm excited for this year. I think there's going to be a lot of cool things happening, and I hope a lot of cool things are going to happen for you guys too. But we'll be back this time next week on the 14th. We're going to be talking about platform overload. It's going to be primarily talking about social media platforms, the fact that there's so many of them, and the fact that most people tell you have to use all of them. We're going to kind of dive into that topic. I'm going to go through some of the platforms that I've used, some of the platforms that are recommended to use in 2025 as a creative. And I think that'll be a cool one to do. It's been done before, but I think I want to tackle it and kind of see what I can find on it to help you guys out. So that's pretty much it. Got this done in about half an hour. Thanks again, like I said, for tuning in. We'll be back this time next week, and have a great week ahead. Apply all this stuff you just heard. If you're feeling down, if you're feeling low this week, like I said, this stuff is going to help you guys. I have faith. But until the 14th, we'll see you then. And thanks once again for tuning in. As always, peace out. Have a great one, guys.